would I recommend the Ari Nebo Peak?
But suspension check of use. So
what is up, you goons? Today is the Ari Nebo Peak review. I'll give you the quick little rundown of the specs. I'll tell you what I like about the bike, why I almost nicknamed it the Ari Nebo Squeak. That was an annoying little venture, and if I would recommend it, and then all the cons as well. And then I'll also take you on the trail out of Greer. Now listen, let's get the obvious out of the way. None of this is paid. I don't have a single sponsor because I make way too many Epstein jokes to ever land one of those. So this is as unbiased as it gets. So I'll put it up here, but the Ari Nebo Peak, I have the lowest spec version. I also don't think you should be spending the price of a RMZ 450 on a mountain bike. That's just me. I think the mountain bike industry needs to kind of understand that we shouldn't be doing that. It's kind of yeah, I went with the lower spec version because I'm not spending all that money on a bike I still have to pedal. So it's a 150 millimeter fork, and then 140 in the rear travel. This is DVO diamond suspension. I have a video coming out on that as well on how to set that up, because at first you probably won't like the suspension. Let's be real. It's not like Fox or RockShox. It's very different. They're, from what I've learned, like a boutique kind of brand, but it's pretty cool. I actually ran into a dude that works there, and he gave me a setup out at Greer. Just took 15 minutes out of his day to explain it all, and it's phenomenal. I love the fork now, but it does take some getting used to. It has that many watt hours and newton meters of torque or NM. I don't know. I don't understand batteries. I'll be honest here. I think, yeah, some people really get into the batteries, and Bosch and Fazua. I know it's a Fazua 60 watt battery, and some people have reported issues with it. I haven't had any issues with it yet. I got the bike in December. I did the first ride in January. It's now April. So I have 4 months on the bike. But a little spoiler alert, I couldn't ride the bike for a little bit this past month because I had to get a warranty piece replaced on it. And I actually went back to my YT Capra for a ride, and it was pretty cool difference going from just riding an e-bike for 4 months. Obviously, I had my Capra for years. I had a Jeff C before that as well. So this is my first e-bike, and going back-to-back comparisons, analog bikes are cooked. Like there's no reason to ride an Amish bike anymore. So here's a little bit of trail thoughts on what I think about the bike.
if you ride Greer, you know this is a little Enduro connector trail thing. It's pretty fun. Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna blow my wheel out every time I do that. A little bit of pedal. Oh, it's hard to see with that sun. Sweet, my face isn't in the sun, now I can see. I guess we'll start with what I like about the bike. I like it a lot. This thing is sick. I'm for sure a fan of it. This bike corners better than anything I've ever ridden in my life. It's insane. Like, I know you're supposed to generate speed from corners, and it was always kind of hard on the Capra, but this, like, not even pedaling. I know, like, oh well, you pedal and you generate some power, but no, like, just pumping, this thing's phenomenal at that. The other thing is, in the air it feels light. But I'll get to the negative. What happens before the air is it takes a lot of effort to pull this thing up. I know, like 44 pounds, it's heavier than a carbon Amish bike, so there's no getting around that. But like, yeah, that you would think you're less tired after riding these, and 1,000% climbs are 10 times easier. Let's just be real. The weight, you feel it on the way down. And it takes some muscle to get used to. This bike, like, because it takes more muscle, what I have noticed is you're more deliberate. You got to be on your technique a bit more. So like, you just kind of know what you need to do in this section, and you overemphasize because of the weight. The one negative, I'm jumping around, but because it feels a little timid through rock gardens. Greer doesn't have gnarly rock gardens by any means, and so I could only imagine, like, you know, the gnarly trails, they would be a little undergunned. But no one gets on a 36 mil fork and thinks they're gonna be able to smash through everything. If you do, you are an idiot. This does have a DVO or diamond DVO fork. I have been tweaking this fork non-stop, and I finally found the secret to it. That will be in my next video. Subscribe, because that video will be coming out soon. And tell you what, spoiler, I hated the fork at first. I had it maxed on all of its pressure, and it still blew all the way through its stroke. Pause.
What did he say?
But now I'm 15 psi less, so I have room to go up still, and it feels supportive. So see, corners like that, like if you just stay off the brakes, it generates so much speed. So it feels good through there. I will say, through like that little rock garden, the bike does feel a little timid, but it's a trail bike. Like, you want to smash through something, you get an Enduro. So I'm okay with that. I like the trail feel. Seeing an out of rock gardens, it carries so much speed because of that mass. And I know it is an e-bike. I cheated and I kept my Strava as a mountain bike, but I ain't throwing down KOMs or anything. Everything is phenomenally faster. And yes, it could be because of the e-bike, but I think it's more also the mass. Like, I'm just faster through corners. Like, every trail I've ridden and had a Strava time on, I've PR'd by almost 10 seconds. I'd say a solid half of that is from pedaling. Oh, lizards on the jump. God, I hate lizards. Snakes with four-wheel drive. That took some focus, sorry. I didn't talk nearly as much as I should have. I aired down my rear tire a bit. I'm nervous. She's taking a beat. It's like Dana White's wife in a club right now.
So I explained a bit there on the trail, but you know, we'll come back to the lab, the GTV Sport Lab here, and I'll explain a bit more of what I like about the bike. The cornering. Holy shit, I didn't know bikes could corner so good. Corners are now fun. Before, I was always like, man, I suck in the corners. It's not something I'm good at. It's not something I'm good at. I need to get better. But with this bike, it was like overnight, corners just flicked on for me. And now they're no longer a thing I'm like thinking about, and more it's I come into it and I'm able to generate speed out of it. It's phenomenal. And then the weight. So at first, I went with the lightweight e-bike because I didn't want so much weight as like a heavy, big e-bike. And I don't think those bikes are really needed. I know some people are like, well, go on rides with people. I ride alone, but I ride alone most of the time, so I don't need the big battery. And the weight, it felt heavy, like picking up. I drive a hatchback, so I have to take the front wheel off and put it in the back of the trunk, and it is heavy when you do that. It does take a little bit more body English to like get the front end up, I've noticed, but riding the Capra back to back, the weight, holy shit, no wonder downhill riders are strapping like fish weights to their frame, and why Jackson Goldstone gets cooked on like really steep descents, because having the weight, that's the only place Jackson Goldstone gets cooked, and even then he still keeps up. Dude's a freak. But the weight like really does help you carry so much more speed down the hills. Like I was amazed, even without pedaling, like my Capra, when I hopped on it, I always thought that bike was fast. And it was a noticeable difference on like going down descents, how much the weight in the Ari Nebo Peak helps you carry some speed. The battery also, again, I don't know batteries. I don't know what the range is, all that. I'll ride 2 hours at Greer and it still has over half its battery. I don't need more than that. I got shit to do. I would love to go pedal for 5 hours or something. And I do think the Nebo Peak could do that, but like I'm very satisfied with the battery. I've never needed more. I've never ran out. All right, now the cons. There were a few cons with this bike, which is pretty frustrating. So with like by like the fourth ride, my bike squeaked a bunch. I'm not somebody who needs a silent bike. Like I don't care too much about that. Like we're taking a bike and like smashing it into things, it's gonna make some noises. But I had these like popping and weird kind of sensations in the bottom bracket, almost in like the cranks. And back when you were a kid on a BMX bike, when that was happening, you knew your cranks and all that shit was fucked. Like you just were like, oh my God, here we go. And that's what I thought. I was like, oh, this is not good. Took it to Jack's Bike Shop. Shout out them. They're the only nice bike shop in the Inland Empire or in the Murrieta location. I've went to Menifee. They were rude. Don't like them. Hopefully I don't have to ever go there again because they'll probably sabotage my bike now, but they were dicks. But Jack's Bike Shop, they went through it all. Even they were like, dude, what the hell? And that's one of the downfalls too, is the Nebo Peak isn't that popular yet. So when you get it, bike shop guys are kind of like, what the hell is this thing? Like I've only ever seen it on Instagram of like Nick Nestoroff or something ripping on it. And so they took it apart and they thought it was the motor. They're like, something's wrong with your motor or your bottom bracket. Like we'll go through it. It turns out all they could find was my flip chip wasn't greased enough. I don't know how that would cause so much popping in the bottom bracket, but they went through everything and it's pretty much reduced. There's still a slight one. And I was like, okay, maybe that's just the bike. Is kind of weird. So the Ari Nebo Squeak is what I was going to call it, but it no longer squeaks. So for now, it's the Nebo Peak. The other con is my seat post broke. I loaded everything up. The seat post about to go for a ride and the seat post wouldn't go down. It was just stuck up. Took it all apart. I'm not good at bike maintenance, but yeah, that was really frustrating. So took it apart. It just wasn't it. So I took it to Jack's Bike Shop again, and it's a Trans X seat post. And even they were like, dude, we can't get parts for this thing. So, which I know I should probably just use my warranty, but I have a baby being delivered, actually would now be born by the time you see this video. So I've just been hammering, trying to ride as much as possible. And I just wanted to get it done fast. And so then they were like, okay, we don't have any parts for it. So I shipped it off, $60 in shipping. Fuck UPS. And the canister inside was defective. The spec version, so I think it's the Topaz shock that comes with it from Diamond. It's I'd say I wouldn't classify this as a negative. It's just kind of like, it gets by. I wouldn't say it's anything phenomenal. Once you figure out the fork, this is a negative if you don't like suspension. DVO Diamond, definitely, I think it's Diamond, and DVO is the series of it. I don't know. I'm just going to call it DVO Diamond. DVO, if you're watching this, sorry, I never heard of you before this. So if you need some help with marketing, I have 6 years experience. Hit your boy up. I'll help you. I just want one of those new colored forks in exchange. But it takes a lot of learning and tinkering, which I love to do. But the rear, it just feels like you are running out of room to play with it if you're like a novice and up. I wouldn't say I'm very fast, but I do like to, play around my suspension, and I carry enough speed already where it's like to keep it stiff enough, and then also to kind of like get that squat. Again, it's a trail bike, so I've always envisioned, downhill bikes are like this in terms of slackness. Enduro bikes are like that. Trail bikes are like this. And then cross country bikes are like that. You got your butt in the air. Pause. And I've noticed that I want the rear to squat a little bit more. I like a Bubba Stewart style setup because I like to think I'm Bubba. I'm not. But I like that little kind of a little bit, slacker positioning. And it's a trail bike, so it's not supposed to be like that. So that's personal preference. But I've been able to achieve that a bit, but without having so much room. Like I can't add any more tokens or anything into the rear. Like that's not what I need. And it's, if I go any lower than or softer, I'm kind of like in a dead shock feel. And yeah, I'm just kind of stuck. I should probably spend more time playing with the shock. But now that I got the fork good, I don't really want to mess with my suspension too much. But yeah, it's just if you have the money, or a lot of people swap their suspension, but just know going in, if you're buying the spec version, you'll be a little limited on what you can do with your shock. And then some minor things that I actually do not like. There's no spot, at least that I've seen. I'll double check myself here because that'd be really embarrassing. But I don't know where I could strap a tube on the frame. Like my Capra has these two little things I can strap on the top tube of my frame. For like I have a Crank Brothers little Enduro piece that holds like a tube, a little tool, and then a CO2 cartridge. I run tubes mainly because I don't want to learn how to do tubeless. I probably will soon though, after denting my rim. But I have noticed that like there was no spot to put that. I haven't needed a tool on the trail, so it's fine. But yeah, I kind of wish that was there. It just kind of, having a little bit of security and being able to swap your tube on the trail would be nice, especially on an e-bike. Okay, but so now for the final part, would I recommend the Ari Nebo Peak? Yeah, I would. It's a great bike. It's fun. It is probably the funnest bike I've ridden, and it makes me want to ride more, especially if you are someone coming from Amish bike and this is your first new e-bike. Of course, there's the used route. I recommend that. There's a lot of good deals, but I have noticed the e-bike is crazy. Like I want to ride it versus when I had my Capra, I was like, shit, like I'm going to be cooked the rest of the day if I ride this thing. Like it is a long endurance event when you ride a mountain bike with no motor. And I know some people are like, you're lazy. I have a pretty good engine when it comes to cardio. And I do enjoy getting my cardio in, but you still can if you put it on, like I call it trail mode. It's phenomenal. I love the bike. It just takes a while to set up and find what you like, as does every bike, but I would fully recommend it. Just kind of know going into it, you're probably going to have to learn a few things. Like I didn't know how to take apart a seat post. Wasn't hard. My fork, I don't want to reveal too much, but I added tokens because, I want to make another video, but that's not hard at all either. But for me, it was daunting. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fuck everything up. There's a lot of great YouTube videos. It's not hard when you kind of like swap these things out. It's fun. It's great. I'm going to go for a ride today, the GoPro you're watching right now. And yeah, fully recommend it. I haven't had any issues with the Fazua 60 watt yet. I know there is a lot of people that say you will have the issues and Bosch is better, or they're probably right. I don't know. But for me, it's been working great. And I've improved. Like the cornering is phenomenal. It makes it so fun. It's still playful. It's heavy enough to where it feels planted, but you can throw some whips and it doesn't feel twitchy, which is kind of how my Capra felt at high speed, even with all the suspension in it. So yeah, in terms of the specs that you get, I mean, you know your wallet better than me, get what you want, but the lower spec version is pretty fucking great. I would say, yeah, the shock maybe needs a little bit of changing, but I think you can get a pretty good base setup and adapt around it till you need anything. But yeah, fully recommend it, and hit subscribe, you goons.